What's up, athletes? So I'm going to do a reaction off of somebody else's reaction because this gentleman has gotten the same questions that I've gotten about the world famous, the most dangerous gym in the world, the Diamonds Gym. So let's get into it. But before we do, please hit that subscribe, hit the like, hype the video, share the content to help build what we have going on here at Impact Athletics Association. You guys ready? Let's get into it.
I don't think it's dangerous, and I don't think it produces strong, capable, or athletic men. I think it's internet theater.
Go! Don't stop! Go!
And if you've never trained in a real environment, like a D1 college football weight room, or under an actual strength coach, I get why it looks impressive. But once you've lived in real training culture, you can see right through it. It's a facade. Now, why am I even doing this video? Because I've got a ton of comments asking, what do you think about Diamond Gym? Would you train there? Is it really the most dangerous gym in the world, Tanner? So this video isn't a hit piece. It's not jealousy, it's not drama. It's just my honest take as someone who's trained seriously for decades.
Hey, you know what? This first minute, he's not wrong. I do think that there's a lot of internet theater, as he put it. There's drama, things like that. But isn't that what everybody's, or most everybody is doing online? I see a lot of other internet content creators. They're just roasting each other now. They're digging up dirt on each other. So there's something to be said that in fitness and just across social media, there is a whole lot of internet theater going on. People acting like they're not, people telling you that they're not taking something when they are, lots of things like that. And I have gotten people asking me or challenging me, hey, you should go to the Diamond Gym and stuff. And it's no place that I would want to be. I think that it has its benefits to some people, but to Tanner's point, if you haven't been in a D1, or you haven't been at a high level of strength training and things like that, which a lot of people haven't. So it's going to look a certain way, but I also think it looks a certain way simply because of how polarizing it is. So yes, you can't help but look at that. We go to, what's the old saying? You go to a car race, not to see the race, but to wait for the crash. So, this is the crash. So let's see what else we got.
And honestly, I think it sends a terrible message to young men. Let's strip the branding away. What do you actually see? Fake drama, inflated rules, yelling for the camera, punishment workouts.
Stop going down. That's our routine. That's out of 10 push-ups. 50 push-ups.
Absurd rep counts, gimmicky consequences, and a whole lot of guys who are big but not fit, not healthy. This isn't training. This is content creation disguised as masculinity. It's not about getting strong. It's not about progression. It's not about performance. It's about looking hard on camera.
So he mentioned things like punishment and consequences, things like that. Don't we see that in almost any sport? I know I saw it a lot in football. I know I saw it a lot in rugby. I know I saw it in track, things like that. You would get laps for something, for showing up late, for not doing your assignment right, not paying attention. So those things are in place. Those things are in place a lot of places. And I don't think that that's such a terrible thing. What it does is it's a lesson to get you to remember the next time. So you are paying attention. So you're giving that moment the respect that it deserves, especially when you're talking about in maybe a physical contact sport sort of way, so you don't get yourself or somebody else hurt. Consequences, again, it's kind of the same thing. Don't you see that in military, where you don't do something right and you are doing push-ups or you're running or you're rucking or doing whatever. I wasn't in the military, but we know these things to be true. I've spoken to people who are in the military. So those are part of it. Got a drag caught. That people are big, not fit. I see that in bodybuilding. I see that in a lot of areas. So I don't know that we can just give all the smoke to Diamond Gym. I think what they're trying to do is the best that they know how in a lot of ways. And they are doing it in the current culture. Because when we're talking about screaming and stuff, I can't tell you how many old school gyms I've been to and people were doing that back in the day. people doing high rep counts, like, oh, you got to do this many and stuff like that. And it just was part of what it was. And they're just bringing some really antiquated things into the present. Now, would I want to do it? Probably not, because I don't enjoy the risk of like rhabdomyolysis or something like that. And which, by the way, he mentioned, jump into your local CrossFit or something like that. Well, that can be a thing. So he's very on when he's talking about like you need to have, a strategy and be specific and purposeful with your workouts, especially when you're talking about I would say like with weights and lifting weights, heavier weights, things like that. Absolutely. So yeah, let's just let's see what else that he has to say, because he's going in. Let's let him go.
Real training has 3 non-negotiables: progression, recovery, specificity. Diamond Gym ignores all 3. Doing 100 to 200 rep sets doesn't make you strong. Doing push-ups after every lift doesn't make you tougher. Getting punished with hill runs doesn't build athletes. It just makes you unnecessarily tired and sore. You can get tired anywhere. Go pay $50 to do a drop-in at your local CrossFit gym, and they can tell you to do 100 burpees over the box. That'll make you tired. Or go run stairs. That's free. Go do water aerobics with old fat women. That'll make you tired too. But that's not strength training. Here's the part people don't want to hear. Most of the guys glorifying this stuff aren't actually that capable. They're only big because they're on steroids. They don't move well, they don't have conditioning, they don't have longevity, they just look intense. But it's not real intensity, it's fake. There's no real intensity when you're doing 100 rep sets on an easy exercise like lat pull downs. Real intensity is pulling a triple body weight deadlift and laying everything on the line. Easy, man. And even if Diamond Gym workouts are intense, intensity without structure is meaningless. It's a lot like CrossFit. If you dropped any of these dudes who train at Diamond Gym into a real D1 weight room, a structured off-season program, or a legitimate conditioning test, they'd get exposed fast. You want to see real training? Go look at any D1 college football program, Olympic weightlifting gyms, elite strength and conditioning environments. There's no screaming for clicks. There's no fake rules. There's no punishments for entertainment. There's only heavy squats, heavy pulls, heavy Olympic lifting, structured conditioning, planned recovery, long-term progression. That's real shit. That's where real strength is built, not YouTube gyms where people fake being hard when the camera's on.
So I think this is where it's starting to separate, and he's just talking about his own experience or really trying to put it up against this one. But, it's kind of like one of those things like, look, not everybody is trying to do what he's doing, and what he's doing, impressive. That's great. But what's wrong with being a fat old woman doing water aerobics? Like honestly, what's wrong with that? And when you're talking about intensity and things like that, everybody's going to have their different levels of intensity. So because he's intense at a different level, that's fine. And yes, if you took anybody from like a Diamond Gym or regular gym and dropped them into a D1 strength training program or Olympic weightlifting, which most people don't have access to, by the way. But even if you did, if you took anybody and pushed them into the next level of training, of course it's going to expose them in some form or fashion. So I get where he's coming from, but it's kind of an unwarranted smoke. And I think Diamond Gym is kind of getting a lot of blowback because of how everybody is kind of giving them like this attention now, because it's polarizing. So now other people are coming out of the woodwork and kind of like coming down on them, saying, oh, well, it's not all that, it's not all that. Maybe it's not, but maybe, just maybe, if they are helping 1 or 2 people improve themselves, or at least get themselves going in the right direction to where they end up in a D1 or an Olympic, or just better in their lives, is it really all that bad? So I have a couple other notes. Not everybody, is going to be at the same level. Not everybody's trying to do 3 times their body weight deadlift, and all of that is cool. But why not just at some point just say, nah, that's not for me. That's not for me. How many other people do we see that are on steroids on social media as content creators? We see them in our movies, we see them on our TV shows. So this isn't new either. So again, I don't know this man's content outside of this one video, but I would just say that there's a lot of what he's pointing out that we've already seen. We've already seen people yelling and screaming and doing the excess things, and it just is what it is. But it's just part of this culture to get people's attention and sell them on something. So look, I don't want to see people get hurt. I certainly don't want to see people injure themselves trying to do something. And do I think these guys are over the top sometimes? Absolutely. But I think there's a lot of things out here in social media that are over the top. And even us reacting to them, guess what? That is internet theater, because we are now players in this whole production. So it is what it is, but it is what it is. What else do I have? Performance delusion. Most people would have performance delusion if you just took them and said, hey, what do you think you could run a mile in? Or what do you think your bench press is? Most of the time, people don't have the idea, like they don't have a realistic idea. So what this gentleman is doing, he's probably constantly testing himself. But if you're not constantly testing yourself, you don't really have a realistic idea of where you're at. So there is performance delusion for a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with that. And something like what he's doing or what Diamond Jim is providing will shock you back in, or whether you just quietly go into the gym and try to put that weight on that you did last year and it's just not budging. There's a lot of places that will give you that wake-up call. So let's let him finish up, and we'll have some final thoughts.
Here's the honest truth. Most men don't need more suffering. They need better direction. They don't need 200 rep sets, humiliation, performative toughness. They need consistency, intelligent programming, sleep, food, patience. Diamond Gym sells pain and fake masculinity. Real training builds confidence and capability. This is the bigger issue. Most people watching fitness content have no real frame or reference. So when something looks extreme, loud, and aggressive, they assume it's legit. That's how perspective gets warped. And that's why I'll always say this. Just because something or someone looks legit on the outside doesn't mean that something or someone is legit on the inside. If you like Diamond Gym, cool, you're allowed to like it. This video isn't telling you what to enjoy. It's just me being honest. I think it's overglorified. I think it's content first, training second. I think it's fake internet bullshit for men who want to act hard, but I've never really been around hard men. And I think young men deserve better examples. And don't forget, this is YouTube. I create what I want to create. You watch what you want to watch. If you agree, cool. If you disagree, also cool. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you rather work out with me or the loudmouths at Diamond Gym? Like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next video.
He had some great points at the end about men, especially young men, and they don't need more suffering. I agree wholeheartedly with that. The thing that I will say, though, and I'm going to bring up a point, is with someone like Tanner, does he speak the language of the culture? I'm not sure where Diamond Gym is at. I don't know where Tanner's at. But sometimes, as we all know, sometimes you have that particular coach you just really click with because they talk to you, they get you, they understand. Now, it may not look like it on the out, to most of us, but maybe just some of these guys resonate with that kind of aggression in their culture. Maybe that's just what the fabric of their environment is. And so that becomes part of it. And I'm not making it an ethnicity thing. I'm just saying it's a culture thing. You can live, I want to say it was like Philly or something like that. Well, okay. So if you're, a guy from Philly and a guy from Colorado certainly can click. But if they don't click, maybe it's because they don't understand like each other's cultures. And so sometimes that's part of it. And maybe that's just why so many people are starting to rock with something like a Diamond Gym, where it's like more hardcore, as opposed to a Tanner who has something that is definitely at a higher level of, completeness as far as strength training and purpose and strategy and progression and things like that. So I think that that's a good thing. Nothing wrong with that at all. And better guidance for young men or men of all ages. I think that that's an important part as well. Still got some notes down here. I don't know if they're trying to fake being hard. I think, again, it's just part of the performance. But clearly, look, even with steroids or not, they're still of some sort of size or strength. They've clearly done something. So I'm not going to take that away from them just to knock it down, because in my estimation, part of masculinity is just not tearing other people down. It's just saying, okay, you go your own way, which is kind of what he said towards the end. Hey, if you like it, cool. I'm not telling you what to watch. And he is very right. We create what we create on YouTube, and you guys have the choice to watch it. So for this man, shout out. And I'm going to try to leave his credit at the bottom so you understand like who this person is, and you can check out their channel as well. And Diamond Gym, you guys already know what Diamond Gym is. So You can always look them up as well. But these are my thoughts on it. I think that it's not necessarily about a fake masculinity, and I'm not here to call out Diamond Jim. I'm not here to call out this person. I just think that everybody sometimes it's easier just to stay in your own lane rather than go calling other people out, because I don't recall Diamond Jim calling other people out. Maybe they did. Maybe they said we are the world's most dangerous gym or something like that. But as far as making people run hills, as far as making people do the extra push-ups or things like that, I don't think that's such a terrible thing. I think it really can shock people into a state of mind. So sometimes this isn't just about physical progression, not just deadlifting a whole bunch of weight, but lifting yourself up and taking care of your families and doing more things. And again, this can be a cultural reference. So there's a lot to it. And we want things to look cool. We want things to be attractive to outsiders if we are trying to get them in on something. And honestly, we're all selling something. We're all selling a philosophy and ideology. I don't know if they're trying to, sell memberships or something like that. I don't know how you could do that. And I don't think you can sell memberships like to what they're trying to do to people on the internet. So it's not like online coaching. I think they're just doing their thing, and it caught fire, and there's just going to be some people that are just like, and that's okay. That's okay for Tanner. That's okay for that person, for myself, anybody. We all have our own way. But I think if we're getting to real masculinity and beyond that, real just being humans, let's just start supporting each other and just saying, hey, it's not what I would do. If they're not hurting somebody or hurting themselves, then by all means, pursue your passions. I can't say that I've seen anything that out of the Diamond Gym as far as injuries, or I don't know. I think I saw even a death on Google, but we've seen that in the NFL. We've seen that in college sports. We've seen that in a lot of places. Death happens. So it's not like Diamond Gym came along and they just created this culture of people dying, or rhabdomyolysis. That's been happening in CrossFit. People have died there as well. I would say I saw in the video where the kid threw up. I think once you've pushed yourself to regurgitation, you got to be careful, because now you're flirting with dehydration. But running some extra hill sprints and things like that, I think it just gets people into, it's like a cold shower. It shocks you into something, much the way that boot camp does, much the way that two-a-days in football will do as well. And those coaches, those drill sergeants, I dare say that they are probably closer to what Diamond Gym is going to be, or at least that was the old school notion, than what we were seeing with Tanner. But either way, guys, find what works for you. Find what you're going to enjoy. Find what's going to motivate you, inspire you, keep you consistent and disciplined, and move on that path and that process. That's all that I got. So I hope that you guys have something in the comment, ace up the sleeve, advice, comment, experience. Please leave it for me, because again, if you've seen it in the live chats, I've been asked about this, and we even had a troll say that they were from Diamond Gym and offered to pay me to go to their gym and work out. And my question was like, why would you want me, of all people? I'm just a tiny content creator. Why would you select me out of everybody? But it turns out they were a troll, and that's fine too. That's fine too. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are. And in the meantime, I hope this finds everybody in your place, pursuit, or beginnings of total health, mind, body, and soul. Like we like to say, HWPO, that means hard work pays off. And this is the Impact Athletics Association. And in the meantime, subscriptions and videos. So click on a few, leave me some comments. I'll get back to you. Stick around.